What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are continuing our look at the best cards in Keyforge by counting down the top 10 cards from Brobnar. We looked at the top 10 Mars cards the other day. I'll pop a link to that one in the description. But I know that most people don't like Mars. I really do, but I understand that a lot of people don't. Well, Brobnar, some people are saying, is the best faction. There was a tournament quite recently where there were 4 people in the top 4, shockingly enough, who each took 3 decks, and they all agreed that Brobnar was the MVP faction. So let's count down the top 10 cards. Once again, huge shout out to everyone on the Facebook group that gave us a hand. But in at number 10, we've got Bumpsy. Now, Bumpsy is a 5 power, which is, it's alright. Better than a lot, worse than a bunch. When you play it, your opponent loses an ember. And this fits with the theme of so many of these Brobnar cards, which is you want to get them down and recycle them. Now, we're going to look at Wardrummer later. Spoiler alert, it's higher up on this list that lets you reuse stuff like this. Or you can just play it, your opponent loses an ember, and then you fight with it until it goes down, goes into your discard pile. Discard pile eventually goes back into your deck and you get Bumpsy back. Sounds like fun. In at number 9, we've got Anger. I like Anger. It's an action card, and it gives you an ember bonus, so when you play it, you get an ember, and you ready and fight with a friendly creature. This is so good. Now, it only allows you to fight. There's no reaping, there's no actions, it's purely fighting. But you get to fight with a friendly creature. And you'll notice the wording on the card is exceptionally important. It says friendly creature, not friendly Brobnar creature. Which means you can use this to fight with any creature from any house that you use. It's one of these cards that lets you use an extra house. Cheat houses, as it were. It's nice. If you want to be fighting, and Brobnar's pretty good at fighting, Anger's good. In at number 8, we've got Kelifi Dragon. Now, we looked at this the other day when we did our list of the most powerful cards in the game. I will pop a link to that one in the description. And what we basically said was, look, this is good, however, it's awkward. Now, you can only play it if you've got 7 Ember or more, and please do bear in mind that if you've got 6 Ember or more at the start of your turn, you have to forge a key, you've got no choice. So, you've either got to have, like, 13 Ember, or you've got to get Ember during your turn to get to 7, but if you do, you can play Kelifi Dragon. It is a 12 power, it is the only 12 power in the game, it is off by itself as the most powerful creature. In pure terms. Like I say, check the video out for more details. There are some that can actually jump it. And when you fight or reap, you gain an ember. So reaping, you'd gain 2. And you deal 5 damage to a creature. And there are a heck of a lot of creatures that would be destroyed by that. So either you fight, and it's the most powerful creature in the game, you'll destroy anything. And you gain an ember, and you do 5 damage and probably destroy something else. Or you reap and you get 2 ember while destroying a creature, or at least doing 5 damage. It comes in at 8 because it's awkward to get into play. If it wasn't, oh my lordy, it would be higher. In at number 7, we've got Coward's End. Destroy each undamaged creature, gain 3 chains. I know, right? It just gets an awful lot of things off of the board. It gets rid of all of them. It does also get rid of yours. Now, this confuses me because on the one hand, it's clearly a powerful effect. You get to clear the board. If you can catch your opponent with more creatures than you, or catch them when they've got creatures and you don't, you can really, really wreck their setup here, which is hilarious. Or you can clear their board when they got enough creatures to reap enough ember to win, or whatever. I mean, look, anything that gives you chains must be crazy good, because chains is a bad thing. It's basically a punishment for playing a really good card. The thing that makes me step back a little bit here is that if you look at Dis, well, you've got Gateway to Dis, which destroys each creature and gains 3 chains. But that's any creature, not just undamaged, although there are plenty of times there'll be damaged creatures you want to save, so maybe Coward's End at this stage would be good. And you've got Key to Dis, an artifact, which you can essentially put down weight and use whenever you like. So, good. Dis have got better options, but it's still quite good. In at number 6, Champions Challenge. What you do is you destroy each creature except for your enemy's most powerful and your most powerful, and then you fight. This basically clears the entire board, with the exception of the most powerful creature, because obviously when you fight, the most powerful creature will be left, and clearly you only play this if the most powerful creature is yours. You don't have to get any chains, which is nice. It gets rid of all creatures, no matter whether they're damaged or not, which is nice. And you get to keep your own one. I mean, imagine if you've got Kelifi Dragon down. You play Champions Challenge, Kelifi Dragon takes care of whatever your opponent's got and gets an Ember in the meantime. Yeah, see where we're going with this? It's fun. Speaking of fighting, in at number 5, Banner of Battle. Banner of Battle is great. It's an artifact that gives each friendly creature +1 power. And I'm sure there are decks out there that have got multiples, because I did my video about the cards which only pop up once. And do check that one out. I'll pop a link in the description. That wasn't on it. So if you've got 2 or 3 of these, each of your creatures gets 2 or 3 extra power. That's nuts. And it's not just Brobnar, it's all of them. If you're interested in reaping, this is irrelevant. But if you want to fight, this is good. This makes all of your creatures significantly more powerful. It gives a bump to all of your creatures. There's a strong argument that this should be higher. In at number 4, Wardrummer. And we are at the stage now where these cards are all phenomenal. Wardrummer is great. When you play it, you return each other friendly Brobnar creature to your hand. But do remember that you're using this on a Brobnar turn. So what you essentially do is you fight or reap with all of your creatures as you like. Then you play Wardrummer down to pick them up. Then you can play them straight back down again. Well, they were already exhausted before you played Wardrummer, and then you put them down exhausted, but it doesn't matter because they were exhausted anyway, so you've not lost anything playing Wardrummer, but you get all those coming into play abilities. I mentioned Bumpsy, that when you play, your opponent loses 1 Ember. Yeah, that comes back. Earthshaker, that when you play it, it destroys each creature with a power of 3 or lower. Yeah, that comes back. And so on and so forth. Loma Flame Fist, if your opponent has 7 or more Ember, they lose 2. Could stop them forging a key. With Wardrummer, you can do this a couple of times. Wardrummer on its own is meh, no one really cares. But Wardrummer combined with play abilities is phenomenal. And remember, even though you got to pick them all up, wait till they're exhausted, play Wardrummer, pick them up, play them down, they're exhausted anyway. Job's a good un. In at number 3, Burn the Stockpile. If your opponent has 7 Ember or more, they lose 4 of them. Yeah, that's pretty good. Getting rid of 3 Ember is great. This could stop them forging a key. Remember, if they've got 6 Ember at the start of their turn, they forge a key. This could be the thing that stops them forging a key. Now, the one thing you do need to be wary of here, if they've got exactly 6 Ember, Burn the Stockpile doesn't work, but they can still forge a key. Well, if they can manipulate to get exactly 6, that's fine. But you know what? That means your opponent's going, well, I could get more than 6 Ember, but I'm not going to in case they play Burn the Stockpile. That sounds fine by me, because there's also going to be turns, right, where they don't get more Ember because they're scared of Burn the Stockpile. But you don't have Burn the Stockpile. I know, right? In at number 2, Loot the Bodies. For the remainder of the turn, you gain 1 Ember each time an enemy creature is destroyed. And if we go back to a lot of this list, look at stuff like Kelifi Dragon, a 12 cost. Anger, that lets you ready and fight with a friendly creature. Champions Challenge, where you destroy all but one of your enemy's creatures, except then you fight with your biggest one, so you destroy all of them. If you can combine Loot the Bodies with these cards, you can be gaining 3, 4, 5, 6 Ember a turn. It can get a little bit silly, a little bit quickly. But in at number 1, and I'll show you the poll in a minute, this was very conclusive, and I agree, Gauntlet of Command. It is an artifact, and your action is ready and fight with a friendly creature. Except, this has the same wording as anger. It is friendly creature, not friendly Brobnar creature. And this is an artifact, so you can't use it every turn, but you can use it every turn you choose Brobnar as your active house. Gauntlet of Command says that every single time you have Brobnar as your active house, you get to fight with an extra creature, and it doesn't have to be Brobnar. If you can have this down for 6 or 7 turns, then that gives you 6 or 7 extra attacks without having to play extra creatures. This cheats you into being able to do extra things that you're probably not supposed to be able to do, except this allows you to do it. And I think it is a clear number 1. Here is the list as a whole. You can see Gauntlet Command was a clear number 1, Loot the Bodies was a clear number 2, Burn the Stockpile and Coward's End were clearly 3 and 4, and then after that it was far more of a jumble. I didn't like Brobnar initially. I didn't like the design. I got one deck with Brobnar, and when I played it I was like, don't really care, this isn't doing anything for me. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, the more I read about Brobnar, the more I see other people playing Brobnar, the more games I play with it, I'm starting to think, well, actually, maybe this is better than I'm giving it credit for. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is that time where you tell me what your favourite Brobnar card is. Will you tell me about the decks you've got with Brobnar, where you share your Brobnar stories, where you go nuts, but you remember that the most important thing, as always, is being nice. And then you make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where I ramble about stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.